Today's daily word could not have been more perfect. It's like it was written for today's message, and I didn't look ahead or anything. But divine wisdom guides my thoughts, words, and actions. Divine wisdom guides my thoughts, words, and actions. If you don't remember anything else, that's what you need to remember, because that's what this message is all about. It's about shifting. And we know shift happens, right? We know that. There's a bumper sticker out there somewhere that says that. Because, and at Unity, we know shift happens because we accept responsibility. That's why some people never come back, you know? Because we accept responsibility for our thoughts, words, and actions. Because we know, and how delightful that the prayer today, the rotating prayer song, was Our Thoughts Are Prayers. And, gosh, I didn't plan any of this. That's just how life in the flow works. So that our thoughts, feelings, our beliefs, our actions, our attitudes are prayers. Think about that next time you're in a bad mood. Okay? Next time you're angry at somebody or yourself or whatever, that our thoughts are prayers. And the vibration goes out. Not only the words, but it's the feeling behind the words that are like the tuning fork I mentioned last week, that vibrates and attracts to us in kind. So, the human condition that today's message is addressing is listening only from our head. I don't know about you, but that's what I learned. I learned that, you know, the logical, rational part of me, or my thinking, came from the head, and that any emotions or anything like that from the heart was, you know, not so rational, logical. And by the end of this service, you're gonna, if you don't know it already, you're gonna really have an experience of how that is the truth, that our heart is so much more logical and rational than our brain alone. We have to have that marriage of spirit between the head and the heart. So, Unity minister and a former Unity Santa Fe congregant, his name was Reverend Ron Jones. How many of you remember Reverend Ron? Yeah. And he said, to be in our heart is to allow ourselves to be influenced by spirit. To be in our heart is to allow ourselves to be influenced by spirit. To be in our head is to block ourselves from the influence of spirit. To be in our head is to block ourselves from the influence of spirit. And I thought that's such a great summary of what this message is about and what this process that I'm going to talk about and give you an experience of. It just says it all. So what do you think might be in it for you? What would it be like to be influenced by spirit? How would that be helpful to you? Anybody?
Peace.
Peace, yeah.
Good ideas.
Good ideas, absolutely.
Harmony.
Harmony, joy, truth. Absolutely. Yeah, and it's nothing, what's in it for you and me is nothing short of transformation. And I've been saying this the past few weeks, it's something we've always hoped, but I want to really point it out, is that I want the Sunday messages here to not be about information. I want them to be about transformation. So the way that this is happening in today's message is we are learning how to shift from that first thought, which just happens, because that's another bumper sticker, thought happens. And you hear me say it all the time. I say it over and over again because I want you to remember it because it means so much to me. And that is that we are responsible. There's that word again. We are responsible for our second thought and our first action. Because the first thought just happens. We have no control of it. So we shouldn't be beating ourselves up when we have a negative thought or whatever. We just have to take responsibility for shifting to the second thought and then taking action, you know, the first action that's appropriate. The next right step is what we, or the next right thing is what we talk about in 12 steps. So, so it's about transforming our thinking from negativity to loving, kind, generous, compassionate thoughts. And it's about confidently knowing what to do and how to do it more effectively and more efficiently. And it's also using this tool is how we consciously connect with our God self, our divine nature, our true essence, our Christ self, our Buddha nature, whatever you want to call it. This technique teaches how to do that. So the technique is called heart math. It's one word, H-E-A-R-T, capital M-A-T-H. So the H and the M are capitalized. Heart math. And the founder of the Heart Math Institute, Dr. Children, his goal was to research and develop a simple, step-by-step system of successfully creating this system of scientifically validated tools that anyone can use to help them listen to and follow their hearts as a source of intelligence. There's over 40,000 neurons in the heart. Myrtle Fillmore, the Unity's co-founder, told us there's intelligence in every cell and atom of the body. But they have measured, and they know that in the heart alone there's over 40,000 neurons. And so what we do using this technique is we tap into those neurons, and they guide us. So that's a combination of the word heart and math, is that it's not just the physical heart, but it's the human emotions that we have, that actually open the heart. And I've talked about this, I may have mentioned it even last week, that in the book Love Without End, Linda Brown is having a conversation with Jesus, and Jesus tells her that the heart has the most sophisticated security system anywhere. I mean, NSA, nobody has a security system that's more effective than the heart. And that the only way the heart will open is through those feelings that are positive, that are loving, that are kind, that are compassionate, that are feelings of joy. Unless we are in that feeling tone, the heart will not open, and we will react from our head. We will respond to people through the head. So we want to learn this tool so that we can truly open our heart and speak from the heart. Now, I used to think, and I think I mentioned this last week, that people would say, you just got to come from your heart. And I didn't know what it meant. I mean, it was so vague. You know, what does it mean to come from your heart? And I thought, oh, I guess it means to be nice. You know? That's the only thing I could come up with that it meant. But when I learned heart math techniques, I learned specifically how to go to my heart so that I could respond, and I could respond from the heart. And that's what I want you all to be able to do a gunshot, right? Pointed gun at your head, I want you to be able to go to your heart and run like hell. Okay. Just breathe as if you're breathing through the heart. All right. So, the difference between using heart intelligence to guide our intellect and using the head's intelligence dissociated from the heart is the difference between doing something under divine guidance and doing something of oneself. Self will run riot, coming from the ego. And the brain works better, the intellect works better when the heart is engaged. Heart energy actually enhances our intellectual capacity. And I don't know about you, but I can use all the help I can get for my intellectual capacity. It assists us in moving beyond limited emotional patterns, which, by the way, don't come from the heart, they come from the amygdala, the dinosaur brain. You know, that's where all the frantic stuff comes from. And then the neocortex doesn't do a complete job of getting it centered, so we have to go into the heart. So we engage the heart by attuning to the heart, by putting in ourselves in a frequency. And they've done all the research on that. In fact, I have a number of copies of these books. If anybody wants to buy them, they're $20. They're in the bookstore, and they give you the science. If you know, some people just want to know more than, they want the information, okay? And so there's all kinds of worksheets and information in this booklet if you would like to have a copy and get more and more details that I'm going to be able to go into today. But that's how that we engage the heart. And I love it. David MacArthur, a Unity minister who worked for the Heart Math Institute for a while, said that the extent that we can put ourselves in a frequency related to love, we will be taken care of. Not because God loves us, take a deep breath, but because we are tuning ourselves to the love that God is. And we're experiencing God as love. So, I want to give you an experience of the heart math technique called, actually there's two techniques in one. It's heart coherence and freeze frame. How many of you have done freeze frame before? Was it helpful?
Yes.
Was it helpful?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. I want to make sure everybody heard you. So, this technique will give you what David MacArthur calls, and he and his father wrote a book called Heart Intelligence. They called it the access code to the full utilization of laws of transformation, which awaken in the heart when we use the heart's core feelings of love, forgiveness, care, appreciation, understanding, and courage. And then we can use these tools to transform our lives. Because when we use these tools to respond to life, we will respond more efficiently, more effective, and with more loving kindness. So this technique is called a freeze frame. And by the way, I don't always have my phone attached to my ear. But the reason I do is because this cord here is called an inner balance, and it hooks to an iPhone and shows me when I'm in heart coherence and when I'm not. And so it's really great because it's the great feelings that do it. So the feelings can be very high and joyful, or they can be, you know, very meditative and quiet. It doesn't matter which, we can still get into heart coherence. So I thought I would just see how I'm in heart coherence. You know, I'm in the blue zone right now. There's green is the ideal. Red's when there's a little tension. But it was amazing. I looked down a while ago and I was really excited, and it was in the green. So it's kind of interesting that then I was in my heart. It was coming from my heart. So I would like you can use that yellow sheet of paper. There's in your bulletin, there's a handout with some announcements on it, and the back of it is blank. So I'd like you to take a pen and a pencil, and you can have a little process. And so what I want you to do is to right now think of a stressful situation, not the most stressful situation of your life. We don't have time to process that, okay? So I just want you to take some stressful situation. It could have been traffic or parking or anything, you know, whatever didn't work this morning. So something that's, you know, relatively minor, but a stressful situation. And then just jot at the top what that situation is, burnt toast, you know, whatever, just a few words. And then I would like you to write down 3 to 5 thoughts and feelings you have about that situation. You know, just bullets, don't write a whole paragraph. But just write a few bullets about what your thoughts and feelings either are right now or they were at the time you were going through that stressful situation. And as you're writing it down, be aware of the stressful feeling that you're feeling in your body. And now I want you to imagine that you have a remote control with a pause button. And I want you to just hit the pause button on your thoughts. It's called a freeze frame. So just freeze frame it, hit the pause button, and bring your attention down to your physical heart. If it helps to put your hand in that area, fine, or not if you don't need to. And just begin breathing as if you're breathing in and out through the heart for 3 or 4 breaths at your own pace. And now take a moment while you're still focused on the heart, still breathing as if you're breathing in and out through the heart, to recall a time when you felt really great. It could have been a feeling of gratitude, awe, joy, delight, confidence, accomplishment, whatever it is. Just something that brings up that feeling tone that will open the heart. Because remember, the heart will not open except in those types of wonderful feelings. And just continue breathing in and out as if through the heart while you feel how you felt at that moment, whatever that moment might have been. And now, using your intuition, your common sense, and sincerity, ask the wisdom of your heart. What would be a more efficient, effective response to that stressful situation that would minimize future stress? And just write down whatever your heart says, even if it doesn't make sense. It may be a picture, it may be a word, phrase. Now I would like you to go back up and look at the thoughts you first wrote down. The first 3 to 5 thoughts that you wrote down, or the feelings that you had. And just characterize those thoughts in one word. Now, what's the nature of those thoughts? And just write down that one word. And do the same thing with the second set of thoughts that came from your heart's wisdom. You You know, how would you characterize those thoughts? And now I'd like you to, a couple of you brave souls who felt a shift, to tell me what the word was from your head and then what the word was from your thoughts. So who'd like to be the first one? Not everybody at once. I won't be able to.
Irritating
Irritating.
and patience.
Patient. Hear the shift? Okay. Feel the shift. Okay. Yes.
Worry and relief.
Worry and relief.
Future and peace.
What was it?
Future
Uh-huh.
and peace.
And peace. Okay. Was that future, was it a positive future or negative future? I mean, what was the nature of future?
Kind of just a stressful, worried about what could
Okay.
happen.
What if? Okay.
Yeah.
So really it was stress. Yeah, great. Okay.
Mistake and relax.
Stay and relax. Anybody else?
Fear and powerful.
Fear and powerful.
Despair and hope.
Despair and hope. One more.
Resistance and easy.
Resistance and easy. Okay. So do the words irritating, worry, stress, mistake, fear and despair, and resistance sound logical and rational to you? Okay. Nobody's saying yes. Do the words patient, relief, peace, relax, powerful, hope, and easy sound like a better place to make a decision from?
Yes.
That's the difference between the head and the heart. Okay? And no matter how many times I do this, no matter how big the audience, I've seen it done in audiences of hundreds, this is always the case. When we just react from our head, it's not real hopeful. So in fact, I would like Brendalyn, if you would show the first slide. Okay, so see that top slide? I mean that top graph? That's what it looks like. That's what our heart rate variability looks like when we're frustrated or stressed. To me, it looks like static on the radio. Then we drop into the heart, we feel appreciation or some other positive, rejuvenating feeling, and that's what happens to the heart rate variability. So I don't think there's anybody here that would disagree that we make better decisions from when we're in that appreciative state. And let's have the next slide. And there's the respiration, heart rate variability, and pulse transit time. And then when you see that middle line, that's once we do the freeze frame. That's how it changes. So I hope that's scientific evidence that will support what I'm saying. It's always nice to have a little science behind me when I'm talking about things like that. And then the third slide is that is the electrical field of the heart. So when we are bumping into each other's electrical fields all the time, you know, and so if I'm feeling irritable, stressed, or angry, or whatever, people pick up on it. You know, and I'm trying to have a conversation, I'm trying to negotiate something, resolve a conflict, and I'm in that, you know, jagged energy, then the person I'm talking to is going to feel it. But if I'm in love and appreciation, they're going to feel that. So again, this is a transformative, to me, it is the most transformative spiritual practice I have learned in my almost 25 years of ministry. That's how much I rely on. Anybody's been to most of my classes, I do a heart math process during the class at some time or another. I do it when I'm training the chaplains to listen from their heart to your prayer request. This is just an incredibly, incredibly transformative practice. And guess what? It only works if you do it. It only works if you do it. And the steps are really simple. And that is to recognize the stressful feeling. You know, be aware of what your thoughts and feelings are about it. Do the freeze frame. Then go to your heart. Breathe as if you're breathing through the heart, imagining, remembering a time when you felt a great feeling that will open the heart. And then ask the heart's wisdom for how to respond more effectively. And it works. It works every time. Of course, then we have to do any guidance we get, we have to put feet on. So, you know, that's the I want to make sure I disclose that. Full disclosure that we have to put feet on what it is that we're guided to do. So, the how-to every Sunday at Unity Santa Fe is prayer and meditation. Can you see how this might be helpful in meditation? Because the very step of dropping into our heart and breathing as if we're breathing through the heart is a great way to meditate. If we did nothing more, that would bring our heart into coherence and open our heart to receiving guidance. We can pray right in the midst of a grocery store or traffic. We can pray right in the middle of an argument with someone by just dropping in and letting our heart go into coherence in this way. You know, no matter what we're feeling about that other person, if we can recall that time. And you don't have to come up with a different rejuvenating feeling. I use the night of my ordination. That's my go-to. I remember how I felt that night, and I recall it, and it opens my heart so that I can think more clearly. And then there's some real practical things you can do, like practice freeze frame. And if you would like a freeze frame worksheet, there's one in this book, but I also have created one, and if you just email the office or me, I'll be glad to send you a worksheet that you can use over and over. You just use the worksheet and you scratch paper to write your answers on. Because for me, I needed to do it in writing for a while before I really got it. Now I can do it without putting it in writing. And a lot of times I can't catch myself right in the moment, but maybe an hour or two later I go, oh, I didn't handle that very well. And I'll do a freeze frame worksheet and say, oh, okay, so hopefully next time I'll remember and do it more effectively. So freeze frame and the quick coherence of just dropping into the heart makes all the difference. Whether you're sitting on a cushion during meditation or whether you're in a conversation with someone. I do it especially when I'm calling like the phone company or a bank or something like that, when I know the chances of getting irritated are higher than normal. And so before I ever pick up the phone, I go into my heart and start breathing as if I'm breathing through the heart and feel some joy. And they feel it. They feel it because we are one. All right, so I celebrate that as a result of today's message, you have the transformative spiritual practice tool to listen and respond more effectively, because you'll be responding from your heart. And let's begin doing that right now in a sacred time of shared prayer. So just make yourself comfortable. Close your eyes if you're comfortable doing so. And focus on the area of the heart, breathing as if you're breathing in and out through the heart at your own pace. And then recall an experience that gives you a heart-opening feeling. A feeling tone of either appreciation, joy, awe, confidence, loving kindness, gratitude. And just allow the heart to go into coherence. And listen to any wisdom about anything that the heart may want to share with you in the silence. And as we gently bring our attention back to this time and place, silently say, thank you, divine nature within me, that as I use these tools to bring forth my indwelling love, to transform the pattern of my life, it not only changes my own life experience, it also creates a healing effect in the collective process in which the pattern of transformation is reinforced. Thank you, divine nature that I am. Thank you, thank you, thank you, that it is so, and so it is. Amen.